Coach, you've been here, recruited this state now for 3 years, and I know the first year COVID was pretty trying for everybody. Couldn't be in the homes and stuff, but another defensive class with a heavy Magnolia State flavor. Just talk about the defensive talent and keeping a lot of these guys at home. And not only that, you got several of these guys that graduate in high school early that'll be here in January and be able to go through spring practice, like Isaac Smith, Zakari Tillman. Just talk about the benefit of recruiting those guys from the state.
Yeah, a few of those guys who show up in a couple of weeks told them, all right, well, Isaac, Zakari, I'm gonna quit being nice to you. Now it's time to actually coach you hard and put you to work. But I obviously am not from Mississippi, but in my 3 short years, I take tremendous pride in the quality of football player that is developed in the high schools in this state and the junior college level, and particularly being a defensive guy, the defensive talent that obviously is known about and has flourished from this state. If we are not recruiting this state before any other and putting more effort into evaluating the young men in this state and then recruiting them and signing them, then we're making a mistake, and they ought to find new coaching staff, because that is going to be #1 priority every year.
Steph?
I know you've been balancing a lot of things this week, but in terms of this bowl game, have you made any decisions in terms of play calling, how that's all going to be handled on both sides of the ball?
Yeah, obviously my intention is still call it on defense, and so, like you said, I've been balancing a lot of things. I probably need to watch a little bit more film, and then Coach Spurrier will call it on offense. That's the plan that was in place, I think, for the last 3 years. If for any reason, right? You always have to have a plan in place. If I went down or was kicked out of the game or something, right, for arguing with refs, you got to have someone ready to go. And so there's already a plan in place. Coach Spurrier is going to call it on offense.
Pretty much today, like you said, you kept all your commitments, and then you added some of your top targets that you've been on a while, Eric Taylor, Isaac Smith. But it kind of had a late surprise come together late last night with Leon Bell, and a guy that offensive tackle but runs kind of like a defensive end or linebacker. Kind of clue us in on how all that took place and at a rapid pace last night.
Yeah, I prefer most recruiting surprises to be of the 6'8", 310 variety who can run like that. Leon is related to Javay Gilmore, so we had known about him. We've been recruiting him. Obviously, Coach Miller, the recruiting staff, Coach Brock, because he's Javay's position coach. There's been constant communication, and like I said, an opportunity arose for us to get him signed and here. And you're gonna jump on that anytime when you, like you mentioned, offensive lineman who probably beat all of our D linemen and I think quite a few linebackers in a race. We are incredibly excited about his future. I think his best football's ahead of him.
You added a couple transfer corners with Kamari Rogers and Rodarius Jones, and obviously pretty familiar with them. You recruited them in high school, but I know you can't say specific names, but looking forward in the transfer portal, are there certain positions that you feel like you still need to fill in the void moving forward?
Yeah, you're always going to look if there's a dominant front guy either on either side of the ball, right, who can be a difference maker. You always consider that, just because the game's won and lost at the line of scrimmage. To put it bluntly, obviously in this day of transfer portal, right, your roster could change too, and so but you're constantly evaluating your needs, and you never pass up a great player. So if you feel like you got a guy who makes you better, typically you find a way in your numbers to do that.
Steph?